Hello, all. Welcome back to EduArise. We are blessed to have today one more speaker on something the concept of personal leadership. He is none other than Mr. Kapil Relan. He is an author, co educator, and a life coach. He has a variety of experience in different domains. Let's hear what do we mean by personal leadership from Mr. Kapil Relan.
Thank you so much, Shilpa, for this wonderful opportunity to talk about personal leadership. That is one of my favorite subject to talk on. So, as we talk about leadership, there are n number of definitions on leadership, and I believe every definition is correct in its own format. It's a subjective term. From my perspective, if I have to talk about leadership, let me explain with the help of a story that I came across. It's a story of two beautiful women living in a small village in China. They were the celebrities in that particular village they lived in. The beautiful smile that you have at the moment, they had, and they inspired every individual with their smile. They were like the inspiration for every individual in the village, be it a children, be it a adult, or be it any person in the village. But as time goes, some tragedies do happen. And the tragedy with the beauty, else it can be? It's the aging factor that came across. And the slowly and steadily they started losing their charm. So it got them worried. You know, people were most inspired by us, but slowly and steadily we are losing our charm. People are not really interested or not really inspired by us anymore. So what we can do? So they decided something that let's go into isolation for some period of time, introspect, rework upon ourselves with the help of some beauty related things, with some exercises, get into shape again, get fit again, and then after a certain period of time we'll come back and see if we have retained that charm or not, or if we have not acquired what we had earlier or not. So after a certain period they came back again in a village. Now they decided, let's do one thing, let's go one by one and see what happens. So let's say the both ladies are named as A and the lady B. So lady A starts walking as the models walk on a ramp. To her surprise, no one noticed her. And she was like, I'm missing something. I should go back again and do some rework and come back. She went, does some more makeup sort of things. I'm not much into the makeup related thing, but she does something more to look beautiful and she walks the path once again. And now only couple of people looked at her. So what does this mean? That she got little upset. Look at the emotions, those are changing now. She went back again, came back again the third time. Very few people again noticed her. Now that upset emotion got converted into frustration. And she tried something weird, like exposing her body and all those stuff. But this time she was really angry and furious that people should look up to me. But this time, whenever she did something weird, the responsible citizen in the city came and wrapped her and took her away. This was all being observed by Lady B. Now she decided that if this is a case, it's not something that I should be doing again. So she waits for a moment. She does something inspiring, very beautiful. She took a long hat, colorful hat, with a lot of feathers in it. She takes a flute in her hand. She takes some bells, little bells, ties it across her hand, ties it across her waist, and she starts walking the path. As she's walking, she's playing the flute. Kids are really interested. Adults are really inspired and are really looking what a beauty she has now, with the different cap, with the different feathers on the cap, with the beautiful music playing around, and the bells are ringing. So everybody wants to come and talk to her. So now this particular story talks about leadership at very depth. If you closely observe the story at an emotional level, if these are the two tendencies, if we closely observe within ourselves, we fall in a trap of comparison. And if our the point of comparison is not giving us a lot of things, we feel upset, we feel frustrated, we feel angry, and that is a case with women A. That is a tendency within us. And at the second time, the lady, when she walked, she had something within herself, that is inspiration. That classifies between motivation and inspiration. Lady A was motivated with the external forces, and inspiration is something that comes in the spirit. She was inspired to make an impact. So, leadership is all about creating an impact. This is my takeaway on leadership. If you are a leader, all you have is within your own self. It's just a matter of realization for you that yes, this is the uniqueness in me. Leadership is uniqueness in you. It is about how that uniqueness can inspire others, how that uniqueness can impact the lives of other people. So, that is what personal leadership for me is all about. This story, I would request viewers to go back again, listen to it, and come up with their own takeaways, because this story has got many, many takeaways.
Was the wonderful definition of personal leadership. I earlierly we think leadership as doing something by impactfully or forcefully, but there are two different terms of it. Sir has rightly explained it in the real sense. So after this, sir, how to develop this kind of personal leadership in us, in everyone who all are listening to this channel? What are the various techniques to develop this leadership?
So, first of all, I would say that every individual is born with the leadership qualities within himself or herself. It's just that we have to polish those qualities over a period of time. Being into IT, I know the language of programming. Over a period of time since we were born, we were only born with two fears. The fear of falling down, because when we are in a womb, we are intact in mama's womb. So we know that we are safe, but we come out and we feel like we will fall down. And the second fear we are born up with is a fear of noises, because deep inside in mama's womb we feel relaxed, no noises, nothing, nothing. But when we come out, we feel some noises and we feel fearful about that. Rest other fears are acquired, are programmed over a period of time. Now, how those are programmed? When you talk about techniques, so before understanding the technique, we must understand where that technique needs to be applied. So there are three levels where we were programmed and where our leadership started diluting. When we are born, the first level of programming is our nature. Nature has gifted us with all these qualities. If you skip these two particular fears, that means we are completely blank and ready to get programmed. So naturally, we have got everything. So that is the first level, that nature. Then the second component is nurture. How you were nurtured. Nurturing comes from our parents, from our grandparents, from our surrounding. We listen to something, what our parents are saying, and we absorb. Our grandfathers are telling us stories, we absorb. Now the stories can be of fear, can be of encouragement, can be of motivation, can be of inspiration, can be spiritual. So that is how we get programmed. Then the third level is culture. Nature, nurture, and culture. Culture is all about people I'm surrounded with. As Robin Sharma says, that you are average of five people you spend most of your time with. If five people in my surrounding, in my culture are positive, optimistic, obviously the sixth person to be positive and optimistic will be myself. If people surrounding me are negative, having a negative thought process, but obvious the sixth person having those negative qualities will be myself. And how this is happening? Our mind is like a sponge. Let me ask you a question, Shilpa. If I pour water on a sponge and squeeze it, what will come out? Water. And after that, if I pour some oil into it and I squeeze it, what will come out of it? Oil will come out of it. So, the human tendencies are as such of the sponge. If I'm pouring positive qualities in my mind while nature, nurture, and culturing, if I squeeze my brain, now squeezing the brain means some tough situations in your life. If the positivity has been poured in, After squeezing, positivity will come out. If I pour some negative qualities and squeeze it, recall the tough times in your life. When something bad happens, if positivity has gone, you will always think कि चलो ये समय आया है निकल जाएगा, or let me find out the solution, or let me see what can I do. But if negative thought process has gone in and it has been squeezed, you will start blaming people. You will start complaining about the situation. Even you will say कि साला नसीब ही ऐसा है. So what is the real technique is reprogramming yourself. If you're talking about developing the leadership, just go back to your nature, nurture, and culture. Identify where the programming has gone wrong. And once you identify where the programming has gone wrong, that is nothing but the self awareness. Now I'm aware is the first technique. And once I'm self aware of it, I now know what are the next actions that I need to do. That is, what is the next program I need to write for myself. So when I talk about programming myself, reprogramming myself, yes, there are n number of techniques to work upon it. You can call it discipline, you can call it consistency, you can call it any of the technique that you want to name it. But once you are self-aware, you will start reprogramming, and when you reprogram yourself, you know that this is my mission, this is my vision, this is where I look up to. So clarifying what you want to be, and once you know what you want to be, start taking small action. Now if I have to put it in terms of Chanakya, so what he says that if you are working on something, you need to do a lot of research, and after reading approximately 100 pages, you may grasp one or two ideas to work upon. So when I'm talking about research, start reading a lot of stuff. Our ancestors, our saints were really good at research. So they researched a lot, and I can give you an example of it. Look at any of the temple. You know, any of the temple, any of the pillar, any of the staircase of the temple has a perfection in geometry. Where does that come from? That comes from research. So they researched a lot, they studied a lot. So you have to research what exactly you're working upon. So unless and until you do it for your own self, no one else is going to do it. So research it and then implement it. The second stage. It's not only about reading good books, it's not only about watching motivational videos, it's not about just listening to the talks or a podcast, which gives you a temporary solution, the quick fix solution that you're looking for. But it is more about implementation, practicing with patience, and getting the mastery over it. So these are the stages, and yes, these are really a time tested stages that you have to go through, because reprogramming yourself is like reprogramming your whole life. So you have to go through all these stages, that's what I can say, and read a lot of books. Research is the best of the technique, and then identifying your action plan.
Sir has wonderfully elaborated various techniques of personal leadership. Basically, it all goes with mind power. He has also mentioned about the habit of book reading, and I would like to mention that he is also the owner of Granth Express firm. Please do enlighten on the habit of reading so that the viewers will be motivated for reading more.
Yes. So you just mentioned about Granth Express. Granth Express, read your heart aloud. It's a uniquely unique program, or rather, I would say a platform where we inspire people to read good books. And not only that, we create a platform so that they can come and express about what they are reading, even what they are writing, in form of narration, in form of reviews, in form of storytelling, because it's a platform of expression. So why do we come up with this? The agenda is that we need to inspire people to read good books, so that, it's beautifully said that today's readers are leaders tomorrow. So under Granth Express, we are conducting various activity to inspire readers. One of them is Read to Lead, where we are creating a program for college students, graduation students, and we are conducting the book review sessions for them, so that any of the book that really inspires them, they start go and read that book. which is a building block or a stepping stone in the transformation of their personality. With reading, what happens is, we have learned a lot about benefits of reading, but practically what happens is when you read a lot, your vocabulary increases, you have a collection of good, beautiful words, your creativity enhances, it goes to a different level altogether because while reading, you start gaining the imagination power. The next level, when we are talking about, it's not only reading, but it's also about expressing. When you express, your communication skills are increasing. When you're presenting, your presentation skills, your body language, your confidence is increasing. So these are the basic benefits, those are very hidden in book reading. So we inspire a lot many people to read books, especially the young generation coming up. Then we inspire through various small activities like stories, bite-sized stories. If Shilpa, I had to ask you one story that you can talk in 2 to 3 sentences. You know, talking and speaking are very easiest of the thing, but talking in a very limited words takes a lot of practice, takes a lot of reading, takes a lot of understanding of the subject, and that comes through reading. So at Granth Express, we are inspiring people to read books, and these books are not restricted to any subject. You can read any of the subject you love. You can read any of the language you love. You can read any of the author you love. But reading is really essential component of life. You know, it was very inspiring for me to know. When we lost Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, what was the property he left behind? It were just a couple of pieces of clothes and 2,500 books library. There is always a talk that the richest people in the world, like Warren Buffett, spend 70% of their time in reading books and rest of the 30% of time in daily activities, making decisions and his business or the stock industry, what he belongs to. So that is the power of reading. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you know. The more you know, more you can do. And more you do, you realize you don't know anything. So you come back again to reading. So I would encourage as many as people to come down to reading because it is really a beautiful technique that you talked about in the earlier question. So I would say that read a lot of books and start implementing what you are reading and start the journey of self transformation, personal leadership.
What you are reading today. I hope you all have understood the meaning of personal leadership, various techniques, and the secret is keep reading. Thank you, sir, for enlightening our audience through this platform. I hope you all have been inspired today a lot towards reading and the concept of personal leadership. Stay tuned to Edge Your Eyes. Thank you.